price. You buy better with Burgess. You buy better at Burgess. You buy better.
Let's face it, most of our expenses are on the rise, but your insurance doesn't have to be one of them. The Burns Agency can quote your home, auto, business insurance with any of our 30-plus top-rated insurance companies. Let's be sure you're getting the best available pricing with quality service from experienced staff. Call, email, or visit us online to see what the Burns Agency can do for you. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
Better. Better Burns. Much better. So much better at Burns. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better at Burns. You buy better at Burns. You buy better.
You've heard correct. Uncle Cranky's restaurant is under new ownership, but the establishment is in very good hands with its new owners, longtime employees, Killian and Morgan. Uncle Cranky's still has delicious daily specials, as well as those incredible hand-cut fries that you've always loved. Uncle Cranky's is still on Main Street, Jewett City, and the staff is always friendly, and they aren't really cranky. Well, not anymore. Uncle Cranky's restaurant, Main Street, Jewett City. Find them on Facebook, a proud supporter of Griswold High School athletics. People say it all the time. I love to support local business. Look to a business that also supports the community in return. If you're looking for both of these qualifications, then Winton Automotive on North Main Street, Jewett City should be your choice for auto repair. Ken Winton is local, but supports local teams all year long. From oil changes to engine repair, Winton Automotive can do it all. Find them on Facebook or go to a youth sporting event and you'll probably see Winton Automotive on somebody's jersey. Winton Automotive, North Main Street, Jewett City, proud sponsor of Wolverine Athletics.
At last, a checking account that's worth the switch. While some banks offer checking account rewards and some banks rebate ATM withdrawal fees, at Eastern, we say, why choose? Why settle for a boring checking account when you can Kasasa? Check out our Kasasa checking accounts and find out how easy it is to get both. For more information, visit bankeasternct.com or stop by any of our branch locations today. Eastern Connecticut Savings Bank, member FDIC. Do you Kasasa?
We love the 80s.
Oh my God, they play the best music in the world, nonstop. The DJs are really funny.
SNSN. Songs you know the words to. Your community radio.
Live from Main Street.
Mike Minarski and Paul Lash in the morning and 80s all day and night.
SNSN.
Like they always say things that aren't stupid usually. And when they are stupid, it's funny.
It's not even Monday, and Paul still has another reason to be grumpy.
That's right. He's tired.
Paul's tired.
Right.
What happened, Paul?
Not enough sleep.
What did you do? Tell us, Paul.
What can I tell you?
What happened? What happened?
Well, we all get old. We get a sciatica problem, so it came back. You can't lay on when you have, you lay on it and it's like, oh man, no matter where you move in bed, it's like the spot. So you got to get up, sit in the chair.
You ever think about getting one of those inverters? You know how you like lay down and it just kind of hangs upside down like a bat?
No.
No? Why?
I don't know. I probably hang upside down. Won't be able to get back up.
Oh, blood rushes to your head.
Yeah. Then there'd be a massive explosion.
Like a lithium-ion battery.
Like a battery, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry your back is hurting you.
Yeah, I don't know what I did. Just comes on, goes away. Probably be here for a few weeks, and hopefully it'll disappear.
Hopefully your new remedies will help.
New remedies will help.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You got to talk about that?
Well, my new remedy is THC and CBD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Taking care of business, TCBY.
Yeah. What they say though,
country's best yogurt.
They call it a topical, and basically you can't absorb THC into your body. In other words, you get no high off of it whatsoever.
Okay.
It just has medical properties along with the CBD to hopefully relieve any kind of pain that you have. First day I tried it was pretty good. I mean, it worked out well, but I tried it last night. I probably used a half a jar. I didn't do any good.
Nothing, huh? So there are people that swear by this stuff. And there are people that don't swear by this stuff.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, what are you? Are you like in the middle or?
Right now, I'm not quite sure because the first day I tried it, I mean, it's like went away. It was great, but yesterday, last night, it didn't seem to work at all. So
I've never used any of that stuff.
Pardon?
I've never used any of it.
No, I've tried CBD before, but it never really worked. I tried it. I figured I'd try it with the THC to see if it would help, but it did help a little bit. But I guess I have to get the stronger one. They have them come in different levels. So.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, this one's 1,000 and 1,000. The next one is 2,000 and 2,000.
Well, if you want to stay herbal and you can't sleep, try valerian root.
Oh,
did I ever tell you about that stuff?
I do it because of the pain in my back. Because you lay on it, that's why.
I get an inversion table.
Oh,
stretch it out.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Like I say, I'll hang upside down and be like a monkey
or
a possum.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear.
It'll go eventually. Eventually, hopefully, it'll go away.
Grizzle had a pretty good showing in high school sports yesterday.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, either way, I mean, the lacrosse team had senior boys, or the boys had senior night.
Yeah.
Because they co-op with Ledyard.
Gotcha.
So they played at Ledyard. Unfortunately, the team lost, but still they had senior day, which was really cool.
Oh.
Girls lacrosse, which we actually streamed yesterday. Mm-hmm. And it was twofold that I streamed the lacrosse game. Number one, because they haven't had any coverage. Girls lacrosse don't get any kind of coverage whatsoever from anything. Right. So we streamed that game. They lost to Wheeler, but it was fun. It was fun to watch. Good. So, yeah. But the other reason why too is that I don't know if you saw, I put a picture up of
the field.
Nope, of the streaming equipment.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and it was that system right here. There, I put together. Takes about legit 10 minutes to set up.
Oh.
10 minutes to set up. You don't have to be any kind of internet maven or anything to do it. Mm-hmm. And if you want to go ahead and stream an event, mainly what I hear, especially on social media, why isn't my kid's game being streamed? Why isn't,
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, now there's a solution.
Yeah.
And lately, I haven't seen anything.
Oh.
Nobody complaining about nothing.
Oh. Quiet today?
I think basically because it's like they can't complain about it anymore because there's a solution.
Oh, gotcha.
Because sometimes people just want to bitch to hear themselves bitch.
Oh, that's true. That happens all the time. Yeah.
Who's here? Are you both here? Oh, well, you can come in, Tim. Yeah. We have guests from the borough coming in today. Warden Tim Sharkey and Senior Burgess, Laurie Sorder. And I think one of the things that we need to talk about today, Paul, with the people from the borough is their fear. Is their fear of being invaded by Lisbon from the south. Lisbon may want to maybe want to take over the borough. Tom Sparkman, and he's pretty aggressive right now. Tim goes, just give it to you. So we'll have to ask those questions, because they're. I've always said the borough first line of defense, and they got the Columbiates, throw them out there, and it's a party.
Yeah.
The what? The Spanners. Oh, where you coming in? Come on in, sit down, join us.
Yeah.
How you doing, Paul?
Good.
Kind of hanging out. Hey, it's Tim Sharkey. Hey, Tim. We every so often we joke around about the borough getting invaded from the south. Sparkman was here too one day, and we asked him. He goes, "You never know. You never know." So
I have had some residents that why can't we just break away and join Lisbon?
That actually could happen, couldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or we could just break away, be ourselves.
Can you move a little closer to the microphone, Tim? Please.
This chair's high. It feels like I'm sitting.
That's Jim sits in that one.
There's a stool if you'd
That-
rather.
No,
That's-
I got to watch my back. So this
Yeah,
is
that. Okay.
The stool wouldn't be good for your butt.
Yeah. So, yeah, we could, couldn't we?
we could succeed, be by ourselves, our own town,
Yeah.
city. We join Lisbon. Actually, we join Plainfield.
Yeah. That's part, like, see, with us, that's part of the joke. It's like part, like, okay, it's haha, but it's part, it could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. What do you think? No.
Anything's on the table. It's
Anything's
all up
on
to
the
It's
table.
all up to the residents.
That would be funny, wouldn't it be?
What?
If Jewett City joined Lisbon.
Lisbon City?
No, I can still can't Jewett City. Just be a
One of the
borough.
residents that talked to me about it, he says, I think it'd be a beautiful thing. He says the town of Griswold's town hall would be in Lisbon.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
what one resident said to me.
That's right.
Oh.
Oh.
Sparkman's got his ways.
Yeah.
He knows. Before he retires, he wants one big bang.
That would be funny.
It's more grant money.
So, that's the way he's looking at it. He's looking at it from a business end, and I'm looking at it, well, this could be fun.
Well, the taxes in Lisbon are a little bit different than they are here.
Well, they have Lisbon Landing, so
Yeah.
which else that
Yeah.
kind of balances things out a little bit.
I see that Plainfield lost their bid for.
4 votes.
Yeah.
4 votes.
They got to go back.
Lost
Cut
their
more.
bid for.
Approval of the
The
budget.
budget.
Oh.
They got to go back and redo it again. Cut more cuts. Yep. Yeah.
Why don't they add more? Maybe people think they didn't spend enough.
I don't know. It sounded what I saw. I thought they needed to cut more. That's what I thought I saw.
Well, didn't Kevin say that they were flat?
I thought
Budget,
so.
that's what I thought.
I don't know. Who knows?
Was it?
I don't know. I think they were still going through it.
Was it both the town and the education budget, Tim? Did you see?
No, I just saw the blurb come across on Norwich Bulletin that it didn't pass by 4 votes.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 votes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a vote for the multi-purpose athletic field.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because that was really, really close.
Well, it just goes to show you, I think more people are paying attention now. Locally, not
Yeah.
necessarily
That's a good thing.
statewide or
What
federally.
about Tim? What do you think about that? Do you think that there's more focus on local stuff more so than there has been in past years, or do you not agree with that?
I don't know. Talking to the people, you don't. For me right now, I get questioned about the NIP, the building, all that stuff.
I'll just put stuff down. Wait a minute.
She brought cookies.
Hello.
No,
I'm fine.
You want to sit over here?
Fine. No, I can get
No,
out
yeah.
that one.
No, go ahead, take this. I'll grab that.
You can. I'll tell you what. Here, take this.
Well-
This has got a back. Here, no.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Paul.
No, why?
You want? Can you come over here, or come over on my side,
Just
and then we'll do it that way, so we can have Tim and Laurie.
Musical chairs.
We can have you guys over
Okay.
here. We'll figure this out.
You want to take your cushion?
Sorry about that.
Oh, what? We're good. Hey, bring that stool to the wall.
He doesn't care about me.
Yeah, take this.
They don't care. They don't care less.
Yeah, I'll take that because he don't want that.
Okay.
Got it.
I was kind of looking for you because I got up here and I see the exit on the door and I'm like,
I did the same thing. I said, it's
Where
upstairs.
are
I
you?
said, did he move? So I went downstairs.
I did
and
too.
I said, well, I'll go out the exit door. And then,
Well, you can come over here. He's whining.
we'll be able to hear you, right?
Yeah, he's just like, I'm not in the picture. I don't like her. I want to get. No, but you're gonna make it about you, aren't you, Paul? All
I'm just saying it's not about me.
right. Hey, Laurie.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good. So we just so you know, if what you've missed so far
Okay.
this morning,
Yeah.
we talked to some important stuff without you here. We talked about the borough possibly getting taken over by Lisbon, and
Oh boy, surprise.
the possible invasion.
Okay.
So obviously, we talked about nothing serious
Right.
whatsoever.
Right.
So there are let's just get into it. There are a bunch of things going on in the borough right now that need attention, that maybe you want to put out there and stuff. What's the number one thing that you want to talk about as far as the borough of Jewett City is concerned?
Budget.
Yeah.
It's always a top thing. Budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna have the same type of fate as Plainfield did, or do you
We
think?
hope not.
No.
It was no big. It's nothing big in it. Everything's.
Yeah.
The only reason it went up 0.3.
It went up 0.33
0.3.
of a mil.
And that's basically because of cost of everything going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The resident trooper was an increased cost. And then we had some dealings, as you know, from the last time we were here with the attorney.
Yeah.
So we increased our legal line.
Got it. So that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And then that makes a big difference.
Well, 0.33.
The only reason the trooper cost went up is because this new trooper we got was a senior trooper. So he's at the top of the pay scale.
Mhm.
So
Are we talking about John Martin?
yes.
Okay.
Trooper
All
Martin.
Yeah.
And we have no say over that because I sat through the interviews that day and I begged, pleaded, but they have union, they have rules, and that's just how it is.
Not that we don't appreciate John
No,
Martin
yeah.
because he's doing a great job, for us.
John's a great
Yep.
trooper.
Yep.
Yep.
He has the answers for our questions. He's always letting us know what's going on. If it's, anything serious, he gets a hold of me and Laurie.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Yeah, and he's very good about sharing information.
Yes.
And so that he kind of works hand in hand with us, even with the Facebook page.
Right.
If there's something we can put out there, he'll let us know. So, we appreciate
Even
that.
Blake, he'll call me, hey, I see a bunch of stuff on a porch here, something like that.
Yeah.
And it is, he works very well with us.
Yeah.
They both do.
They both
Trooper
do.
Wendlowski.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the night, he handles the night shift, and they did say it's going to be a busy summer, though. So,
No, I don't know if this is just hearsay, but has there been a chatter of a third trooper coming in?
we were approved back, almost 10 months ago now?
Yeah.
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 As a matter of fact, there was one Martin came.
Right.
We were approved. We didn't approve. We were going to use ARPA funds to pay for that third trooper. But the problem was in the state of Connecticut, when you have resident troopers, the first two, you get them at a discount. The third one, you pay full price and onward.
How much is a trooper full price?
It depends on his seniority.
Average, just say trooper first class.
$200,000. Or first class is probably even more because he's up higher. But a trooper just out of the academy, let me see, like back when Trooper Valancourt was here, I think he was like $185,000 a year.
So now that's not just the salary. That's
you're
paying everything. You're paying benefits, the
uniform,
car,
maintenance on the car, everything. You cover a piece of everything. That's why a lot of resident trooper towns used to complain because they felt like we're getting double taxed.
Mm-hmm.
Now that changed too. I mean, as far as the cost of the trooper over the last 5-7 years,
it did go down. They redid some of the fringe benefits. It went from like 80% down to like 56%, something like that.
Now, but before it was what, 70% across the board?
Oh, back when they first started,
Yeah.
it was you only paid 10%.
Right.
Oh,
back
okay,
when
all
Jewett
right.
City first switched to troopers, they had 2 resident troopers here for $100,000 a year.
Okay.
And
Which
over
would
time,
make
it-
sense.
over time, it just went up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So now you've gone from $100,000 to $400,000 or $500,000.
Well, right now I just pulled out the proposed budget, and we're proposing $285,375 for the troopers, but then you have to add on what we pay for rent, what we pay for utilities, so overtime. Yeah. So it
adds up.
Yeah.
It
adds
definitely
up.
adds up.
300,000.
Yeah. It says 303, 375.
Now, if you remember back when we went back to one trooper, we were paying almost $500,000, and those were 2 senior troopers we had. Matter of fact, one of them was a canine. And
Trooper McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We probably did.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
We
Alpo.
probably did. Yeah.
And you pay a higher amount to have them.
Yeah.
But the problem was that we found out when you have the trooper with the canine, they need a canine someplace. Guess what? Your trooper's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you're back to relying on a road trooper. So,
So just so anybody knows, we're talking to about the Borough of Jewett City budget. This is not the town of Griswold budget.
Correct.
I just didn't know. I didn't know if people would get confused, and I still think there's people out there that have no idea that there are 2 different governments in this in this area in the town
We
of
still
Griswold.
hear it.
I know. Yeah.
Griswold and Jewett City.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a Borough resident, and how many times I've said it, it's like it could be on speed dial in my mind, but a Borough resident pays a Griswold tax just like everybody else pays, same mill rate, same everything, and then pays an additional tax for Borough things that should be unique to the Borough.
Right. Like the troopers.
Like
troopers,
the troopers.
hydrants,
Yeah.
Okay.
street lights, all that, that stuff.
Yeah.
And the other misconception too, Mike, is, I've been on the board since 2007, and over those years, you've heard town residents, see, Jewett City don't want to share their electricity. Why won't they come to Griswold? It ain't up to the electric company. It ain't up to the borough. It's Eversource.
Right.
They control it. It's like Jewett City just can't go start running lines. The poles, transformers, and a lot of people, they have animosity towards the borough because we're not sharing the benefit. It ain't up to us. We would love to expand. It's just,
It's a service territory, just like the cable company.
Cables, telephone,
Same thing.
landlines.
Yeah.
like one of the ones I never realized, and I worked there, was Wirewine. Wirewine was not covered by Jewett City Electric. That was Eversource.
Yeah.
All those years, it's in Jewett City.
Right.
Triangle wiring cable up there. That was Eversource. That wasn't Jewett City Electric. Yeah.
Question from Victoria, and I think we kind of covered this, but still, just want to ask it directly. Did the state subsidize your trooper costs? We are exploring in Sterling, reinstating the trooper, and the original cost dropped due to a state subsidy.
We would have to ask Linda that. Linda is our treasurer, and we have not heard that.
No.
So
the last thing we heard, there was a deduction on the fringe benefit side. It went from 82 or 85% down to 55 or 56%.
And that could very well be
that. Yeah.
That's what you were talking about earlier.
Yes.
That could be. Yeah.
Okay. Paul, do you have any questions? Or here I am yapping along and stuff like. Do you think the borough would benefit from a third trooper?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, how does that? Have you had any kind of talk with the town about this? Is this anything that they want to do as well, or? No?
Well,
okay.
we had a meeting with the first selectman and the finance director back in April.
March.
Oh, March. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
in March, and the meeting didn't go as well as people would hope.
Yep.
However, one of the things that continually was mentioned was sharing police service, and I know that several times, you guys must know this, that it's been put out on the budget, the town budget, and it's been declined. So I could not for the life of me figure out how we could possibly share that when the borough pays the full cost, plus they pay the town tax. So you think about if it were 50-50. So then a borough resident would pay the 50% out of ours, and then 50% out of, so you're basically paying the 100% anyway. So it doesn't, sharing really isn't an option unless you figure out, you sit there and you really do some
I know a few years ago, Jim Bonney came to me and they formed a committee. I don't know, but Jim said we were looking into possibly the town getting a trooper with the borough mine, letting that trooper use the resident trooper's office over here. I said, I don't have a problem with it. I'm sure the board wouldn't have a problem. But at the time, when I got back, the selectman at the time said, well, why would we put the town's resident trooper in the borough's resident trooper office? And I turned around and said, well, the borough residents pay town taxes too. So
Yeah.
that trooper is going to be in the borough too, basically.
So I
they
think we
didn't like
both-
that.
Right. And we both just said the magic words, you know, it's that misperception, you know,
Yeah.
that people just don't have of a borough resident being a town resident also and paying that town
Right.
tax. So I know
Right.
that.
Mike, you're a borough and town taxpayer.
Yes.
Would you're paying town taxes for a service that you're not going to have. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You know? You're helping pay for a trooper that's only going to patrol the town.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Unless there could be some real outside of the box thinking of a way to, you know, figure out.
Unless the
An appropriate
town
way.
added two troopers themselves, you know, like maybe one sergeant and 3 troopers,
Well,
and then
after
they're
s-
paying for 2. You guys are paying, but they all have the jurisdiction.
After number 4,
Then we'd be paying for all.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
after number 4 trooper, you have to get a sergeant. That's the state mandate.
Oh, I thought it was 3. After
No,
3,
after
4.
when you order the 4th one, you got to get 2. You get the 4th one with the sergeant.
Got it.
Yeah.
Are there any towns that actually do that?
Killenly was doing it, but now they broke away on. They have constables. I don't know how many they had, but they did have 4.
Yeah.
Then with the sergeant.
Now the constables, do they report or do they roll up to the resident trooper? Or is that how they work?
Well, when we were investigating, when we had the consultant, when we sat down with one of the constables from Killenly, the constables would handle certain calls, the troopers would handle certain calls.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still the same. That was 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
now.
And one thing that made us shy away from
Yeah.
that was that if you hired a certain amount, then they could unionize.
2.
Not that there's 2, right?
2.
Not that there's bad, you know, there's good and
Yeah.
bad to
Sure,
unions.
sure.
And you know, we just could not take
Yeah.
that.
And
Take
what
that
happened
on.
up at Killenly, when they started hiring, they got to like 3 or 4 of them, and they all got offered more money in surrounding towns. So they left, and Killenly had these uniforms, these cruisers, and they had maybe 1
Yeah.
constable. You know?
Yeah.
There was some talk years ago about having a neighborhood watch
Yep.
Yeah.
form.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think
That was McCarthy too, didn't he? Was it? He
No,
part of
Chit.
that?
It was
Chit
Chit,
Adam.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And they
I
stopped.
remember him someone coming to the door
Yeah.
actually, and
Yeah.
And they stopped it because they was trying to have meetings, and the people were basically yelling at the troopers.
Yeah. We don't want to do your job,
Yeah.
you know, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
So that ended.
It's really, you know, everything you try has a backwards
Yeah.
spin to it. So
in today's environment, the way people are today, you're better off having troopers rather than constables.
Yeah.
Neighborhood watch.
yeah, agreed.
There's a lot of things
Agreed.
around town.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
shootings that happen. You know, people-
Yeah.
Right. You
And
know,
it's
when
getting
it-
closer,
yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting very close to us. It's
Yeah.
just, you know.
Mhm.
you
And
know.
we have been, you know, again, telling you that we share information with our resident
Mhm.
troopers.
Yeah.
Things are more active around here,
I
you
bet.
know, lately.
Yeah.
So you're right. You know, it'd be kind of hard to have residents
Yeah,
in
but
charge.
we
you
would
know?
love to have the 3rd trooper.
Yeah.
Love. We would do it in a heartbeat if the funds were there. The residents okayed that.
you do it all day, huh?
We
Do
do it
it,
all day.
yeah.
And because the way we had it set up was, okay, you have the trooper during the daytime, then you have the trooper on at night. But like the trooper on at the daytime trooper works Monday through Thursday every week and every other Friday. The evening trooper, he works a rotating schedule just on second. So he's on 5 days, he's off 3 days.
5 or 3.
So we were going to have it set up when he was going off. You had that 3rd trooper would come in,
Right.
and you'd have actually 2 days a week where it's 2 troopers on
2
in
of
the
them.
evening.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. The troop loved it. They were really pushing for it.
Yeah.
And we were even trying to work out a deal where if we got the 3rd trooper, they were going to put some undercover guys here for a little while.
Mhm.
But they had a problem.
These
with-
guys are like ninjas. They come out of the woodwork. They're
Yeah.
here. It seems like you don't know it,
No, you don't.
but they're here. They're
Mhm.
always around.
Mhm.
It's funny. You ever notice that somebody gets pulled over, and if it's a little shady or whatever, next thing you know, there's 4 troopers, 5
Right.
troopers. Where the hell did they come
Right.
from?
Right.
Right?
Surprise.
They're there. Yeah.
yeah. Surprise.
Unfortunately, now they're building a house that they can't pull them over for something common.
Right.
Mhm.
It's got to be a good reason.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
not-
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's very sticky now. Every you know how it is. So-
I remember one time I was out the back door of my old place, 2 North Main Street, Jewett City. We'll talk about that in a bit. I went on the back and I noticed there was a trooper out there talking to this girl who was just sitting there. So she wasn't talking, she wasn't saying anything. So I'm wondering, oh, something's going on here. But I'm just sitting there. I'm not videoing or anything. I'm just kind of like, whatever. Next thing you know, coming through the Teresa Madonna's parking lot, 2 guys. And you could see they were packing on the hip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did these guys come from? And it's like they're like ninjas. I had an idea, but I've never found out.
Yeah.
And if you see the way they're dressed, their hair, their beards, you'd
never know.
No.
And that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not.
Because if you're just doing the right thing anyway, so what? Who cares?
That's right.
Right.
But if you're worried about it, then it's probably because you're doing something
Yeah.
you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. That's just like just kind of segueing into the camera.
Yeah.
And all the cameras that we have now on Main Street. Same thing, So we've heard some criticisms that say, oh, you shouldn't tell where they are. Or, again, like you just said, if you don't have to, if you're not doing anything, you don't have to
worry about it.
Right.
So-
I'm going to sit there and go,
Right. Yeah.
How many times do you see on TV?
because I'm not hard to find.
Where you see people driving and doing something wrong, and it's picked up by people's ring cameras.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Cameras are a good thing.
They
Now
are a
you
good
see a
thing.
lot of people are putting the dash cams on their cars
Yeah.
just for accidents
Right.
and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Good. So.
Sarah says, and she's a town resident. I wonder if the town of Griswold would consider having a public safety line for troopers and fire paid by just Griswold residents. I know no one wants another tax line, but I would personally love to see the troopers in Griswold. But you just can't justify making Jewett City residents pay for Griswold troopers when they already pay for the Jewett City troopers.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
understanding
Yeah.
that, Sarah.
And when we looked into
yeah.
it, we asked the tax collector if it could be done where you could actually separate.
Have a separate.
And she said, yes, because the way it is now, the borough is the district. It's a separate line item on the tax bill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, going back to, you had said that you had a meeting with the town back in April.
Yeah, March.
Okay. And by your own admission, said it did not go as planned, we'll just say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that has kind of spurred off, tell me if I'm right or wrong, other activities.
You're talking about the move.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this something that was, in the works already before, or is this
No.
something that, okay,
It's time.
it's time, okay.
Yeah.
We looked at each other that day and it's time.
Yeah. It was.
They don't want us there.
No.
We know it.
I guess the question is, and I'm just talking, I'm talking as a Borough
Yeah,
resident.
please.
Why? Isn't it, is it not,
We're not paying our fair share.
is it not more convenient for a resident? I know for a fact that if I've got to do something with the borough and like Algier was up there or you're up there or Leona was up there and you go downstairs, you go upstairs, you're done. Now I understand Leona is going to be also staying in the town hall,
Correct.
as far as, what she does. But isn't this going to be it's going to be an inconvenience for, I understand why you got to do it and why you feel the need to do it. But what kind of an inconvenience is this going to be for borough residents? What kind of?
Very little. As it is, Mike, I'm there 3 days a week.
Yep.
I get more emails, text messages, and phone calls than actual people coming in.
Yeah.
The most people in the last year I had coming in was to pick up the address signs that we put out with the ARPA committee.
Yep.
Mhm.
Even like light complaints, I get a phone call, email. Very little traffic.
Yep.
So that to me, it wouldn't really affect much.
Okay.
You know?
So it wouldn't really.
Convenience wise.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
However, now there's a chunk of money that is possibly going to get paid out. I mean, is it possibly, or is it a done deal?
Okay, so let's
go
go
into-
to
I'll
the
let you just
nitty gritty here.
Take
Okay?
the mic and go.
So on the 24th, we're going to be showing a PowerPoint presentation that we devised just last night.
Yep.
That goes into pros and cons. That goes into finances. Goes into everything that we could think of as far as presenting a full, transparent process. Okay, what we have done is we've met with the bank a few times.
Yep.
We signed a letter of intent, and all of the things that we've signed or given were our good faith and refundable. Okay, so there's nothing in stone until the Freeman vote.
Right. They know on anything that we signed with the bank or the realtor, it all comes down to as long as the Freeman approves.
Can you explain Freeman briefly? Because I think
Borough
again,
residents.
Borough residents.
Yeah. So, and that's just a charter term.
Yeah.
right.
A term in the charter. So,
Because I've said that before, and people go, "What?"
yeah, I know. It really sounds revolutionary, or
Kinda,
whatever.
well, it is.
That
It
case.
is,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
But anyway, so we signed a letter of intent that allowed us to tell the bank we're serious about it, but and it also allowed us to go in and tour. I mean, not that we couldn't before, but we could tour the building and we could have an inspection done. So we ordered an inspection. It was about $1,000.
$975.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
So we got an inspection. We had bids. We went through the bid process for the inspection. We chose one that was very comprehensive. One of our board members strongly wanted radon testing. So we had radon testing included, and everything that came back with the inspection was, first of all, the radon was nil, nil, and everything was rather cosmetic. Now you know that building.
You know my
You've been. You
Yeah,
guys.
we know
have
that's
been-
like the
yeah.
back of our hands.
Yeah,
So.
you've been in that building.
It's a sizable space.
Yeah. So the original ask price from the bank was
$199.
$199. In our discussions, we offered a lower price.
Well, the first day dropped it. They went down to 190. for us.
190 for us. We
Yeah.
went lower.
Yeah.
They came back. We kind of settled on 185. So when you talk finances, we went back with our treasurer, went through all of the accounts that we may have. We have some CDs that are available, and they came for maturity. And the treasurer said, I'm not going to roll these over yet until we find out what the deal is. We can, with approval from the Freeman, we can pay outright for this building.
And it would not affect the budget.
Well, it wouldn't affect the taxpayer.
Yeah, right.
The only effect to the taxpayer is we found that there would be probably $1,700 difference in costs. And when we did a comparison of what we paid for
And that
the
would be
troopers,
it would be like fax paper and copy paper.
we already have that.
Yeah, that's one thing we like to correct
We have
because
it.
it
We
comes back
have
to us
it.
that you speak very
knee slapper.
very freely on here that we don't have a copier, we don't have paper, we don't have toilet paper. We have all that stuff.
We were told you didn't.
You got to
Well,
think
we
of the
were told
source.
we didn't
Yeah, we were
either.
told we didn't either, and when I'm being told that, I'm staring at a copy machine on
Yeah.
the side of it.
Right. So
We can
yeah.
even scan paper,
Yeah. And
Yes.
we're right up in the center here.
Yeah.
But you know, so I'm looking at our proposal, and let's see.
With the troopers, moving the troopers with us. That's
saving that. The difference is what we pay now.
What do you pay rent? What's the rent over at Wedgwood?
it's 575, and we're
yeah.
the treasurer said she got a letter. It's going to be going up, so it's going to be over $600 a month.
Right. So then, so the cost comparison that we had from being borough costs over at the town hall, because we pay for our own phone and internet over there. We pay for
internet,
our security, our computer security.
Yeah.
And of course we pay for our insurance.
Yeah.
So,
That doesn't change.
that doesn't
No.
change.
Right.
So when you do your cost comparison, it's right now $35,583. With the potential move, it would be $37,339.
There's that $1,700.
There's your
Yeah.
$1,700.
The advantage of having the troopers downtown is even a big advantage.
and I can tell you the businesses that we talk to are
17.
ecstatic that the troopers are going to be on Main Street. Even the savings bank, like,
Yeah.
oh, you moved the troopers, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
You
Yeah,
know?
the businesses are very happy. We actually even talked to the pub,
Yeah.
across the street, because you're thinking, oh, you know,
Yeah.
and they were,
Yeah.
bring it on,
I
bring it
support
on.
it
We
100%. He
love
goes,
it,
I'll
you
even,
know?
Pat McGrath, he says, I'll even give you a letter
Yeah,
showing support, sign it.
And again, if you're not doing anything wrong,
right.
don't worry about
Can
it.
you share some of the pros
Yes.
of what the building? Because it's a big building.
Yes.
So what are your plans for that building? Because you're gonna
There's a lot of space there.
And
Well-
you got downstairs.
Well, one thing for the last few years, I've been having conversations with Janice D'Amico, and I don't know if either one of you ever got to see the museum, the Slater Library, and it's up on the 3rd floor.
Yes, it is.
And she just told us about a month ago they had an art exhibit there. They had over 175 artists with have displays and stuff. And I'm sorry, not 175 artists, 175 people show up for the art displays. And she goes, you know, Tim, out of them all day, only 3 people went up to see our museum because they didn't want to climb the stairs.
Yeah, right. It's hot.
So
Right.
we would love, talking with Janice and love have some museum pieces, put them on display.
There's a lot upstairs.
Yeah,
It's
there
a
is.
lot of space in there. That stuff's put away. The Historical Society, they can put stuff on the walls. It's their building. It's all this stuff is from the mills and the history here from the borough. To me, I love history, and I think it'd be nothing better
So
than
you use the upstairs or downstairs for the museum?
Well, not all of it, but
Yeah.
some bits of it.
yeah.
And
I
then
talked with the DPU people in the future if they wanted to move over, and it'd be all
But then you just have another building.
that building
Right.
there. Yeah, because that building there, they could rent it out.
Sure.
I said, oh, that'd be a nice place for a parking lot. Right there,
It was funny because Paul and I talked about this a while ago. I don't know if we're just kind of jolt your memory here.
Go ahead.
We talked about what a great idea if the
Oh, yeah.
borough bought this. This is over 2 years or even 2 years ago. We talked about this.
bought the 2 North Main Street.
Bought 2 North Main Street, but the idea was to knock it down and just make it into a parking lot.
Parking lot.
So then we started to think, well, how many spaces
that
they're
was
actually
it.
going to get
Yeah.
compared to how much it was going to cost to knock it down, clean it up. I mean, you're talking $750,000 project,
Right.
something like that.
Right.
But isn't it weird that we were talking 2 years ago that the borough
Mhm.
should buy this building?
I'll tell you what, mic drop.
We're oracles. We're oracles, Paul.
Yeah.
I would think one of the negative things would be the parking.
The parking, right.
Yeah.
But
Right.
we looked at it this way: the most activity in there will be on a first Monday of the month at 6:00 at night, 6:15 at night, and the bank has already said you can use our parking lot.
After hours.
Yeah.
They've always been like that.
Right.
The Jewett City
Yes.
Savings Bank.
Resident trooper, then over there, very rarely there. They're out on the road.
Who wouldn't want a trooper parking in their bank parking lot?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we have, as you know, that one spot in the back. So if we have one trooper on, there's a spot for them. I reached out to Teresa Madonna right next door, and she said, I can dedicate 2 spots for you there for the troopers. So, because she said, don't.
For the troopers. Yeah.
for the troopers. She said, I'd love to have troopers, parked in my lot.
Yeah.
So, it was,
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was a really nice thing. So I'm going to go through the pros that we feel that it would be eligible for some grant money, to do some projects in there. As a matter of fact, Circa from Yukon, you can speak to that if you don't mind.
It's through Circa, and they're working through CCOG, if I'm saying it correctly, but the climate change. And they, in the last few years, FEMA switched the floodplains down here. They actually raised it, where with our flood wall, it's going to be starting here in the next couple of months, actually a month and a half probably.
Which is a grant that we
had to go back to the engineers because with the new floodplains, they raised that flood wall. I believe it was from 6 foot to 9 foot. And the engineers came back and said it can't be done because the wall would just fall over on itself. It's too high. So we had to go back with deep and everything, and they let us build it to the new 100-year instead of the 500-year. Well, Circa came in now because the climate change, and they see we're doing this, and with the floodplain change down there, it's opened us up. They want to do an exercise where they're going to do a phase 3 where money could come in, where they raise houses to stop them from flooding. They make the higher for shade trees.
You do it to my house, please?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, shade trees. And if we wanted to create a cooling center, is the air conditioning, all that money come in for that.
Yeah. And we are one of how many?
4.
We are one of 4 municipalities
that they're looking at.
That they're looking at for doing that.
I can tell you exactly.
So, and Paul, because we've always talked about cooling centers when it gets hot, and who's going to. Correct.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times, I have, like when Governor Lamont, goes ahead and says, we're just activating the the
extreme weather or the
protocol. And I would go ahead and text Leona, hey, is there going to be a cooling center somewhere or a warming center, depending if it's really cold?
Correct.
So I hear it said, I'll read one part. It says, for your information, we are proceeding with the Circa Design Workshop next week, and the Borough is the subject of one of 4 breakout sessions. The others are Mystic, Essex Village, and downtown Portland. I'll let you know if any interesting ideas come up from the attendees. But then down here it says, can or should we consider the area a potential phase 3 project in the next 12 months? A phase 3 project will identify specific options for addressing flooding and extreme heat. For example, a project in Jewett City might develop concept designs for elevating housing, protecting critical facilities from flooding, and evaluating locations of cooling centers and places to install green infrastructure and shade trees. So that's
well, I'm just going to put it out there about the whole flooding thing. On my house, part of it's on, and I'm sure a lot of people have this problem. We're down in Clark Lane. If you go down Clark Lane, water on heavy rains, it comes down, and then it just kind of right into our
settles
carport,
right there,
right? And then even though I've got a sump pump here, with a reservoir, so it'll spit it out.
Mhm.
If it's too much, in the garage, right down the stairs.
Yeah.
And guess where our bedroom is?
Yeah.
In the basement on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
Last year, was it last year? No, 2 years ago now. I don't know. I stepped out of bed to go to the bathroom at 3:00 in the morning and stepped into 3 inches of water. Yeah. Wanted to get a boat to go to the bathroom.
Now see, Circa.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying there's a need for that.
There's need.
Yeah.
The town came out and actually Todd Babbitt and his crew, they cleared a whole bunch of stuff out that they thought maybe was,
clogging or
yeah. So the water wasn't just flowing, straight down or whatever, but it's kind of like the way the plane is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, now we got a new garage door, so hopefully that'll
I hope so.
fix a lot of that.
So the other things that we had written down, obviously the savings from the resident trooper expenses and the costs, the circa. We'd certainly have meeting space availability because oftentimes there's conflicts there and people are kicked out of there or whatever. So
Well, the biggest problem is getting in.
Right.
There's security and keys, and nobody's got keys.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta wait for somebody to show up.
Or we get in, get ready to start a meeting, and oh no, we need this space. You got to move.
Yeah.
And we don't have to deal with that no more. Yeah.
Right.
You know, matter of fact, that building there could do overflow for some meetings.
Absolutely. And then again, as we said before, it's welcomed by the business, the borough businesses, and the Jewett City Savings Bank has been really wonderful. They're doing some
rehab.
Thank you. Rehab for other
branches.
So they said, we have furniture for you. So, they're going to shoe some furniture. Over for us. They're
when
wonderful.
we went in there was furniture from, one thing they did before.
Right.
And because it was like a storage center.
Yeah.
So I would say to Kevin, do you need this? Nah, we don't want it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they've been wonderful, talking about that, about some furniture that they have available.
Matter of fact, Scott Merchant said to me, he goes, "You guys he goes, if you were a month earlier, you would have had your choice of conference tables and desks." He says the place was full. He says I was
gone.
He says I was cutting them and breaking them up to get rid of them. He says we couldn't give them away.
Those were solid. It looks funny too because there was how many were there? We must have had 15.
Wow.
These big desks that were in there. A couple of them were stacked. I was giving them away.
Yeah, we could have used them. That's for sure.
Well,
but hopefully the same thing will happen when they redo their Brooklyn branch.
Yeah. Then the town of Plainfield said that they wanted them, and then they just didn't come pick them up. So they're beautiful desks.
Yeah. Of course, it's handicapped accessible. We know that. Yeah, and the bank has
the bathroom's ADA. Huh?
Right.
It's got a security system, fire protection system.
Yeah,
it's been
even
well kept.
maintained.
Even the inspector looked at me. I says, "Can I ask your personal?" He goes, "This building's moving ready, Tim." He says, "I sat with him for 4.5 hours." The inspector. I went through.
I'd only charge you $200 to tell you that.
There you go.
But I know you have to have that.
Then our cons, we tried to do the pros, we tried to do the cons. Obviously, building maintenance, we're going to have to take on that role of being maintainers for that building.
And it's a big building to maintain. They were always doing something in there.
Yeah.
Whether it was the tank, I know, but I know the water, the oil tank downstairs. Well, there's two downstairs, but one in the small. Had to put something in, but boom, they had DEF in there.
Yeah,
they didn't mess around.
No,
if there was anything, and I'm talking like the smallest possible leak, because I remember when Kevin Merchant was at the Jewett City Savings Bank, he said, "If you ever notice anything, let me know."
Yeah,
and I said, "Anything?" He said, "Yeah," and like I said, I saw a leak that was just. He goes, "Yeah," he goes, "because a little leak it would become a big leak."
That's right.
Yeah. And they were on it. Right. They didn't mess around. They just got a new roof too.
Well, the roof.
The roof has 5 more years of life.
Yeah.
But the inspector says if you paint it, they call it painting. I guess it's like a silicone
sealer.
Almost, a seal. Yeah. He says you could, and you do it every 10 years. You could get 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
Jim Kruger, who's one of our board members, he says potentially something like that. You could get almost up to 50 years life on it. So
right.
I knew it was like almost brand new when we moved in.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Another con, of course, which we already talked about, is parking. It is limited parking.
Yeah.
However, for our usage, and we have our meetings at night, we just the bank has been wonderful about use that. And then the annual costs are $1,756 more per year. It needs some cosmetic updates, so
I know. I like,
You know.
I got mad, punch some holes.
Yeah, from your, and then
actually, there was one wall I fell through.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding you.
Dear.
So, like, if you go down that long corridor, right, and just as you turn to go into where the bathroom is, there's a wall there.
I saw a hole in the wall.
Yeah, that was my head.
Okay.
I tripped.
Oh my
Boom,
God.
and went right through it.
Yeah.
Kevin Merchant goes, "That's not true." I said, "Yeah, it is. I got all of them right here. You want to see it?" And we did that. I told him when we were doing a game. I felt stupid.
Oh my
I didn't want to tell
gosh.
him. And then, and I just hung a picture.
There you go. Hang a picture
Yeah.
with the whole, and then signage. We'd have to get
Yeah.
some kind of signage up there. But that's all peanut stuff,
Yeah.
right?
What's the oil cost going to be there? I was never
I
triggered
think
to
it was
the
like
oil cost.
$6,000 a year.
Yeah.
Something
Okay.
like that.
It was.
So
Because
that's
that's what the bank, the figures from the bank we got. They had a
Yeah,
figures.
but it's not the entire cost because you're already paying for the heating costs where you are now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there'll be some offset.
Right.
So if
Right.
you're already paying heating and electric and doing your own internet and all that, what is the problem?
Of us being there?
Yeah.
I wish that I knew when we had our meeting in March. I point blank said to the first selectman, "So what do you want? What do you want from us?" And really,
I said,
the response was,
you want rent? And she said, rent and utilities. And we said, how much? Well, we don't know.
"We don't know." So, where do you go from there?
But aren't we talking again peanuts?
Perhaps.
I mean, we have a one office within an office.
Perhaps.
I mean, how much
But
money
her
is
figures were coming because she said we're using 5% of the space in that building.
5%.
5% for that little office.
That's, I guess they measured it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And for the, other things that were thrown in there was,
We asked if
the janitor cleaned our room
Yeah.
and, over
5
there.
minutes in the back.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but those things were mentioned. So,
we use the elevator.
it really sounded like grasping at straws. There's nothing like
Right. And
not
when
feeling
you go
welcomed
in and
a
you see
place where
notes,
you're going into work.
or when you go in, you see notes on the door, town employees only. That really makes you feel real happy to go in there. So now I go in, I close the doors.
Should we not be worried more about economic development and that kind of stuff and putting in infrastructure on
In a normal working environment, yeah.
Instead of worrying about 5% of a freaking building.
And it's not even that. I bet maybe 1%.
Look, I
Mike,
just don't understand it. I don't understand the
Well, let me
This at
say
all.
this. After our meeting in March, we haven't heard another word. So, I mean, we don't want to go on radio saying, "Oh, they're kicking us out. We're doing this. We're doing this."
Yeah.
It was something that led up to this feeling of not being welcomed. In that meeting, I specifically asked a question like, "Do you see any benefit of the borough?" And the answer was no. I go back to, we just got that grant. I go back to how many times are the resident troopers up at the schools? Not that we don't support that, but it's
It's a
still
cost to the borough
it's still a
taxpayer, not the
cost,
town. So are we covering some stuff?
Absolutely. So, it was kind of like it was leading up to this explosion.
Yeah.
And so Tim made calls to every other warden
For every
in
borough
this-
that's in the state,
in the state.
including us. There's 9 of us left.
And
boroughs.
boroughs,
Yeah.
and not one shares a building. All of them said to Tim, "I would highly recommend that you get your own spot."
They couldn't believe. One of them said, "How have you survived being with somebody that don't like you?" Because that's how all the other boroughs feel. There's 2 of them out there. It's fighting. It's 2 of them in the town of Litchfield. There's the borough of Bantam and it's the borough of Litchfield, and they're trying to be taken over off and on throughout the years. Over they have an historical park, something. I guess it made news when the Gulf War. They tied the yellow ribbons around all the trees. Well, the town wants that park, so They tried forcing consolidation and stuff in the past. They all go through it. Even the borough attorney, he advised us. He says,
it's time to go, huh?
It's time to go.
Now I've heard a couple of rumblings of like, why not wait till after November and to see what would happen if.
Because Mike, you look at the history. Dana is just the one that brought this to a head.
Yeah.
There's other ones.
There's been others that have been doing this.
You know, we were discussing it last night after the meeting. Some of the past stuff. I remember back a few years ago where I asked a selectman right in the foyer who was also a state rep. I says, I heard that you consider borough residents second-class citizens. He goes, well, you are. Where it got back to the first selectman, he had to come over and he shook my hand and apologized.
It's funny because I just asked the question without even looking at the chat board, and Daryl Nadu from the Healthy Computer, School Street, Jewett City, said, could you wait until the administration changes instead of purchasing a different building?
Right.
So that's that. And there's another question. My question says, this is from Sarah. Sarah Confer, who's a Griswold resident. If the Jewett City residents pay Griswold taxes, I am so lost as to why by default haven't they already paid for access to the town hall? I am so lost with this whole line of town versus borough. Help. Laughing emoji.
I think that I think this is just my thought, okay? But I think that the whole method to the madness is that the feeling by the I'm going to say first selectman, because I don't know if the other selectmen were privy to all of this or involved in all of this. But the thought was that Griswold residents through their taxes are paying for services that the borough is enjoying, I guess, you know. So that was the whole premise, that Griswold is supporting the borough in town hall. Now, to Sarah's point, you can flip that around and say, well, we are paying for this, you know, we are paying for this building. We're paying for the whole
Town's
thing.
not paying for it.
And let's be real. If we leave, it's not like those bills are going to go down.
No.
Right.
You know, they're not going to go down. So
that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I don't know what the purpose is, but that
Out of
was
sight, out of mind.
yeah. And it's been historical. Back when the receivership in the 1990s, one of the findings was that it was recommended that there was consolidation. It went to a vote, a town-wide vote, and the borough people voted to consolidate, and the townspeople overwhelmingly voted to reject.
And why is that? Because the borough of the tax base for the town residents would go
up. Absolutely. Somebody's got to pay for these fire hydrants. You know, somebody's got to pay for that. Somebody's got to pay for the lights. Somebody, you know, and for the resident troopers, unless they want to get rid of them. You know,
Laurie even asked in the day of the meeting, well, is there any other organizations that's not part of the town that uses office space here? And we were told yes. And Laurie says, well, are they going to have to pay rent? Well, no. And why?
Because they cooperate with the town. Really, I'm serious. And so,
what kind of an answer is that?
Yeah, and that's when I came back with, are you really saying that? Because how many times are our troopers at the schools? How many, how many
you're
times
part of
do
the
they
Economic
lead the
Development Committee.
parades?
We gave free flow
Right.
for 8 years, 20,000 gallons a day, free flow. And that seems to be forgotten.
So I don't know. You know, I don't really know what the where that animosity came.
Does it start with the NIP money?
No.
No,
because the
Mike,
NIP
this
money
is
because that is said. That's one of the things that
with the attorney we have sitting down having meetings with him, he turned around, he goes, Tim, I believe the NIP money was just the door opening, allow that foot to come in the door. Okay. He believes there was an agenda. And he says, because if you look at the timeline, Tim, he says the first thing, when Todd was still selectman, the borough pays the town for Leona to collect borough taxes. we were doing it annually every year. Todd, he says, Tim, instead of doing this every year, why don't we go out 3 years? And I said, that's fine.
Yep.
So we agreed. Well, election came. Todd lost. I signed the contract. It was kicked on my back on my desk 2 days later. We want more money. And we don't want to do 3 years. We want annual. So we were stuck between a rock and a hard place because here it is tax time. So they upped it $2,200 on us. So, oops, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And we turned around and that was the first thing. Second thing was, came in, I need that desk.
Oh, that was rough. Yeah.
I said, well, my stuff's in it. Goes and opens the drawers. Well, I need the desk. I'm taking it. I'll help you empty it.
Well, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's this year.
I get it. I understand. But I wanted you guys to talk about why.
But now
why it's important.
Now that's this selectman. There's been in the past where my family was from here. I have a relative who was one of the first firefighters in Jewett City. I have a big portrait of him in his original uniform. It was found in my aunt's attic. I wanted to hang it in that office with some pictures of the mill fire. Because, you know, I was a fireman.
Sure.
And it's history.
For a long time.
And I asked if I could hang pictures on the wall. I even offered the office, hey, can I paint it? It hasn't been painted in years. It's chair marks on it. Borough will pay paint, we'll paint it. Now, that wasn't this year. This was in the past.
Yeah.
You know, so people ask, you know, after November, okay, yeah, but what's next?
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
Yeah.
if you look at,
have another opportunity to buy this building.
well, that's it too, because they don't want us there. We have to go. You know, I had one resident, well, have them evict you. Okay, have them evict. We need a place to go, you know? So,
And I'm not sure that they would go that far as to, you know, I mean, we're painting a pretty negative picture here. And again, we haven't had contact since in this regard, you know, about this issue since March. But we have certainly kept pursuing it. And I know that there's scuttle around town, you know, about it.
And that's why
and to be
asked you
honest,
a while ago to get back on.
Right,
and talk about
right.
it.
and to be honest, it's been quiet.
Yeah.
I passed the first selectman in the hallway. She says good morning to me. I say good morning to her. We've had some complaints in the borough. She's brought them to me and we've talked. It's, you know, it's quiet, but you know, there's tension.
Yeah, it's tense, right?
Sounds like the lowest going time for divorce.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one.
You know,
Yeah, I know, Tim, I always laugh about this because based on things that were said about our usage, you know, Tim won't use the staff bathroom.
no,
at
I use the
town
public.
hall.
I'll go downstairs. Now, you know, Paul, the bathroom's right across the hall. I go downstairs, use the public bathroom. That way there, I'm not using toilet paper. Now, for existence, Paul, you remember the time you
Isn't it
came in
so-
and met me and Laurie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went, it was no room in that little borough office, so we went to the empty conference room.
Right.
After you left, I got called in there. You didn't ask permission to use that room. I said, we were in there maybe
It's all
5-10
Paul's
minutes.
fault.
And I said, it was with the public safety director.
You suck.
I don't care. I don't care. You did not ask permission.
Well, the nice thing about the potential of a new borough home is that they'll be able to put a playscape and a ball pit right in the middle of it. There's enough room.
There's
No,
enough
pickleball,
room.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yes!
Pickleball.
Pickleball is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Let me read this here. I don't live in Jewett City anymore, Linda St. John, but have kept up with the situations. Much of my family still lives there, and I come back often. This makes me so sad that this is going on. What is wrong with people? The world has changed so much. I must say this also. I am so proud of my friend Laurie. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
I see now you got fans, Laurie.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's
You know,
back
so
from
like
St. Mary's
now
days.
back to
Oh, yeah.
economics. This is all going on. They want to charge us rent, but they're going to come back. They're going to want free flow again. How is the borough supposed to handle that?
You know, Tim, everything I've heard, you know, you listen, you know, and everybody else listens too. And a lot of people don't talk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some people do.
Mhm.
I used to talk. I kind of like, I don't know anymore. We talk about it off microphone. I don't understand this at all. I don't know why it's even somewhat of
An
a
issue. I
priority,
know.
an issue, or anything like that. to me, it's always been, no, this is just, I'm not trying to raise Cain or anything, but just as a resident of this town and borough, to know everything is in one central location, I'm good.
Mhm.
You know, now are you going to be moving the borough clerk over there as well? Is Karen going to be moving over there?
Well, she's part-time.
Right.
Yeah.
Or is she going to stay in the town hall?
Should be in the town hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
Well,
borough
actually,
clerk?
no. Val is the
She's the town clerk, but
yes.
Karen is now the right.
Yeah, and she's
The
part-time
bar
because she's a school teacher during the daytime.
Yeah.
So it's part-time.
So
So
see,
it's like in working, excuse me, but talking with all the other boroughs, they're all part-time. It took me almost 2 months to talk to 8 other boroughs because they're part-time.
Yeah.
right.
You have to call, leave a message. You might not get a phone call for a week later.
Right.
I ended up I had to talk to the clerk 2 or 3 times, and the warden was on a plane trip someplace, so working back and forth.
Providing you have to pay for the chair.
Right.
You got to pay for the chair, then you better off moving.
But the other thing is, she very well may come over and work there because we're gonna have to keep our records.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get our
Right.
records out and keep those.
Yeah,
over
we
there.
have like
She'll
we
have
do.
to
We
have
records.
access
The
to
borough
that,
has
so-
records from 1895
Sure.
up.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
all those records will have to be moved
Yeah.
over, and that's
Mhm.
a big if. This is
Right.
all up to the
And if the troopers
residents.
move, the town took over the pistol permits. They got about 8 filing cabinets of pistol permit records that the town's going to have to take.
Right.
Right? Because those are their records.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. There's bigger fish to fry.
There are.
Don't
I
we have
agree.
other? We just went through a freaking pandemic, and we got to
Mhm.
and recover from that, not just economically but socially.
Mhm.
There are still people out there, God bless them, that are double masking. That's fine, but you know what? If it wasn't for the pandemic, they wouldn't be doing that now. So
Right.
that's
Right.
a big social economic change that's going on. These are things that we're recovering for, and we've got to worry about this.
Mhm.
That's my
Well-
problem with this.
Well, I don't know if worry is even the word. This is
Well, it's a concern. It's
It is a
thought.
concern, but,
It doesn't need to be there at all.
Don't worry,
But,
about
like-
Laurie and I was doing enough worrying for everybody because me and her were calling each morning. How long did you sleep last
Yeah,
night?
it was
And
terrible.
it was terrible.
It was terrible.
It
But
was
I
a
think-
terrible feeling.
right now is
Yeah.
an opportunity to have some kind of closure. If it works out, it works. If the taxpayers don't want it, they don't, and then we deal with what we have to deal with. But I can't see us at this point, being best friends. You can't see that right now, but you don't have to be a best friend to work together. I get it.
Still playing the same sandbox.
Yeah.
I think it'd be worse.
Yeah.
Or the new borough playscape.
Oh, because you're already going to make a move, and then if it doesn't happen, it's going to be worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And before anybody thinks that I'm up the borough's ass on anything,
Yeah.
just so you know, Tim and I went round and round for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we probably didn't even want to look at each other.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that we were over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
we
you can
just
play
stop.
in the
Yeah.
sandbox.
Now we can play in the
He
sandbox.
sold the helicopter.
I
Mike.
sold the helicopter. But the fact is that I have a tendency to make waves with, so it's this is not a Mike and Borough thing. This is not a
No.
Mike and Town
Yeah,
thing.
no, I get it.
Tim and I go way back since school,
Yeah.
but there were things Tim and I didn't agree about. But and right now, well, I can't disagree with him. I agree with him.
Yeah.
Not that,
And you know
but I
what?
think we're past that crap anyway.
Yeah,
We have
Mike,
heard-
this is what's best for the borough. It'd be great. This is how I feel. We'll have a place we can call home. After talking to these other boroughs, and it's one you get a chance. Look at the borough of Woodmont's town hall.
Oh my gosh.
It's so
It
beautiful.
looks like the senior center. The new
And
senior
the
center.
town actually, when they have special events, comes over and asks them to use their hall over there. And they said it's once you get your own building, they said you're going to see what the difference is. A place you can call home. I have a couple of residents that call me, want us to succeed, and one of them's like, "Well, I don't want you to move." Well, how can you succeed when you're still in their building?
Well, I kind of hope that it's kind of look at the positives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope
With
so
a
too.
no-brainer, what, extra 1,700 bucks?
Yeah,
I mean, and having the troopers downtown, that's got to be a benefit.
that's the most important.
Most important.
It is because you have
I
the
don't know on the street down here, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Kathy Waslick,
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
one of the Borough Burgesses. And we'll just kind of end it on this note right here because it's 10 o'clock and I know you guys got things to do. And she said, I just hope Borough residents come to the meeting and vote.
Absolutely.
And that is the most
We
important.
we're going to put out a couple of nixels just to remind people.
Phone calls. And can I
Yeah.
just say one more thing?
Anything you want.
I just want people to realize that the bank has been very, very patient
Yes.
and very good with us. And the proceeds of the sale, should it go through, doesn't go to the bank. It goes to their charitable fund.
Yes.
So it's not like the bank is making money. And I actually asked a question, would our resident troopers be eligible to apply for grant? Absolutely. So, we may even have
For the Jewett City Savings Bank Foundation.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's where that money would be going should the sale come.
Right,
That's
because
excellent.
when the pricing came out, we actually, okay, we're going to counter offer, and we're like, wait a minute, this money's going to a charity.
Yeah, maybe we could be the charity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So
It won't be me. However, well, that's another story for another day. Tim, Laurie, thank you.
Oh,
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Yeah, thank
Sure.
you for having us.
Oh, no, my pleasure. And
The meeting is on the 24th.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the firehouse.
Jewett City Firehouse.
At 6:00. There's the first meeting will be budget vote. And then there'll be special meeting after that, which will go right afterwards. That will be to vote on a hazard mitigation policy that is kind of standard.
Yeah.
It's just updated and needs to be voted on. And then we'll do the presentation on the building and vote on that.
vote on that.
Be a good time for you to come, Mike. You can stream it.
Absolutely.
will.
People eligible to vote are registered voters in the borough and any person that has property valued at $1,000 or more in the borough.
In the borough.
Yeah, those are the people that are eligible to vote. We will have the registrar of voters there to verify. And last night we discussed we're probably gonna do a paper ballot so that
Okay.
it's kind of an anonymous vote
Instead of the show of hands, you mean?
Yeah.
instead of the show
Okay.
of hands. Yeah,
I kind of like the show of hands.
I like the
I
show
do.
of hands too.
I do.
What? You're not going to do this? What?
No, I prefer the show of
I do.
hands.
Yeah.
But,
I like the show again.
Yeah, there was one Burgess that was very strong, wanted the other. So
Yeah.
that's okay.
Oh, boy. Anyway, thank you guys.
Okay,
You.
thank
Anything
you.
else? Anything else? Are you sure?
Have a good day.
Yeah, have a
Good
good day. Thank
All right.
you for having us.
Anytime.
Thanks.
Tim Sharkey and Laurie Sorder from the Borough of Jewett City. Thanks, guys. All right,
welcome.
tomorrow we have, I don't know if you guys remember this guy because he went to the Griswold school system. His name's John Feelharbour.
Oh, that sounds familiar to me.
He's Lisa Feelharbour's brother.
Okay, he was younger, right? Was he?
No, he's young. He's older.
Was he
He's,
older?
he's a
Okay.
few years older. He's a couple years older than me, actually. And he's a legit rocket scientist.
Wow, good for him.
And we're going to talk about space.
That's cool.
He spent many years in Chile at an observation, just studying the skies. I don't know, 10 years or something like that. So he's got a lot of, it's just going to be kind of cool and different, that we normally talk about.
Yeah, nice.
We'll talk about
If it's in the stars for them to get to do
It's not astrology, it's astronomy.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you said reading the stars.
Have a good day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow right here on SNSN.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've heard correct. Uncle Cranky's restaurant is under new ownership, but the establishment is in very good hands with its new owners, longtime employees Killian and Morgan. Uncle Cranky's still has delicious daily specials, as well as those incredible hand-cut fries that you've always loved. Uncle Cranky's is still on